Now there is a wall, the 8-meter high wall, concrete.
If you ask the reason for the Israel, this always his answer: security reason, security reason, security reason.
By building the wall, they want the Palestinians to move. It's the same of 1948, the same goal, but in different way.
Look, it's become nothing.
Well, first of all, we prefer to call it the annexation wall, and I'll tell you why. It was actually a phrase coined by the former Special Rapporteur on Human Rights, Professor John Dugard, a veteran in the South African struggle for freedom. And he used the phrase annexation wall because essentially, taken each component of the wall and take them separately, it isn't that bad. But taking each component, it compounds really the essence of the existence of the wall, which is to fragment territory, to fragment the West Bank from East Jerusalem. And the wall is built in a manner that facilitates the annexation of land. So imagine that 85% of the wall, once it's all been completed in what I think is 2020 expected date of completion, by then the wall will be built for 85% inside the West Bank. At the moment, the wall is something 400 something kilometers, and in the end it'll be 708 kilometers, which is twice the length of the Green Line. So instead of the wall being built on the Green Line, it snakes through the West Bank, annexing territory left, right and center. That's why we call it the annexation wall. The legal reasoning then from the Israeli side is that they have constructed the wall for security. Now there's no doubt that there is a legitimate need to protect your citizens. As an Israeli state, you have the right to protect your citizens. But that wall should be built on the Green Line, the 1967 borders, and should not be used for alternative motives. So when they have to cross through these checkpoints, their freedom of movement is curtailed. It's more difficult to get access to healthcare, basic services. A lot of land through the wall has been confiscated to Palestinian farmers who reside on, I guess what we would say, the Palestinian side of the wall, cannot access their land that is located between the wall and the 1967 border. That area is called the seam zone, and a lot of land is located in the seam zone. So not only does it have, does the wall violate basic human rights, access to healthcare, access to education, the right to work, freedom of movement, but also it affects the economic aspect of a country under occupation where farmers cannot access their lands. And yeah, I think in that the whole permit regime in and of itself is a reminiscent of what we saw in South Africa, where certain people were divided along racial lines, had different permits and different legal regimes applied to them. And in a way it's the same here, where Palestinians with green IDs are not allowed to go into East Jerusalem. Palestinians with blue IDs, East Jerusalemites, once they leave East Jerusalem to perhaps reside in Ramallah, they lose their residency rights in Jerusalem. So there's a punishment there. Even though people should be able to move between the different territories. I mean, if I want to move from Amsterdam to The Hague, my government should not be able to prevent me from that by constructing a wall. And that's essentially what happens. For economic reasons, I would want to move, or because I want to give my children a better chance of education. A large policy of appropriation, because what you're describing in essence is confiscation of land. When it comes to land, we call that appropriation of land. And appropriation of land is illegal under international law. So confiscation suggests that it is temporary, that it will be given back. So all of the policies, they all facilitate Israel's larger aims for this region.
It's not necessarily the impact of the wall itself on destroying the land itself. You have lands that were isolated, you have whole villages and cities that were surrounded from all directions. You have, for example, the limited access for let's say trucks and other services. You have schools that were closed because of the wall. People or teachers, they were in schools, and employees, they were in villages, had to stop going to these villages because the villages are surrounded. There were around 8 million olive trees in the West Bank. 1 million of them are isolated behind the wall. And when you say 1 million, that's a huge part of the sector when you talk about small economy like the Palestinian economy. And also that means thousands of farmers. Socially or psychologically, the clearest impact you can see in Tul Karim and Qalqilia areas, where you had villages on the Green Line. So half of this village have Israeli passport and the other half has West Bank ID. Now in 67 there was, after 48, between 48 and 67, the Israeli army put barbed wires in the middle of the village. Although of that, the people from both sides, they are relatives and brothers and cousins and so on. They used in any ceremony to have 2 tents on both sides of these barbed wires. And they used to throw gifts or greetings to each other through the barbed wires. Now there is a wall, the 8 meter high wall, concrete, that splits between the village.
Imagine what was before: water wells, jawapa trees, farms. They cleaned everything for the infrastructure, for this constructing the fence. And now any farmer want to go to cross to the other side of his farm, he need, as I told you, a bus permit.
Back again to the economical thing, most of the isolated lands behind the wall, there are restrictions on what you are allowed to enter to that areas, and when you are allowed to enter. For example, as we are in the olive season, the olive trees need, or usually what happened in olives farms, that there is a work during all the year almost on olives, other than land cleaning and trees cutting and so on. Also farmers used to farm in between farmings during the year, so like chickpea or like grass that they use for cattle, for fodders, and different types of farming. Now what the wall did was total blockade unless or only specific days during the harvesting season. During the harvesting season also, the habit here, or the cultural agricultural culture here, is that you go early in the morning at 5-6 o'clock in the morning to the land, start harvesting, so you could go at let's say midday, 11-12 to the market to sell, and you have enough time to go back again to the land to do to serve the land itself, watering, land cleaning, whatever. Now all these isolated lands, the checkpoint opens at 8 or 9 if it opened, so it changed the whole culture of the communities. The other thing, you are not allowed to, only the landowners are allowed to enter the wall, cross the wall. If the landowner was my grandfather, let's say, he's the one who's allowed. It's really difficult, even his sons and the grandsons, to join him. So how much he could do anyway in it. No tools, nothing. In some cases they allow animals like donkeys or horses to cross, but this is also a few cases. So you need to do everything by hand, and without land following up with the land and cleaning it and so on. Anyway, the productivity of tree year by year become less and less. So the amount of olives, amount of oil in the olive and so on become less through years. The process is so long, so it takes them longer hour, and this reduces the quality of the oil. so it doesn't become anymore what we call the extra virgin oil. And also tools are not allowed, so usually they put the olives in bags, and this is also reduced quality. And the last thing, they never give you an open permit to reach these lands during the whole harvesting season. It's only 1 or 2 days, and usually it's less than the need of people to harvest what they really own behind the wall. طبعا this is if we were not being attacked by settlers or army or whatever in these areas. The wall itself annexed to Israel some wells, destroyed around 20,000 kilometers of water networks.
We have here one of the wells that the Israeli settlement damaged it, destroyed it. You can't use it now. This is all this area has become for the farmer, planting with the citrus, with the guava, with the vegetables, lemon. Now you see it's destroyed, cutting. No one can use this area, no one can plant anything in this area.
In the northern areas of the West Bank. And it's focusing on the slopes. When you look at the wall and the military zones, it's on the slopes. They left for us the mountains. Usually in mountains you can't build agricultural projects. The huge agricultural projects are usually in the valleys. It should be open land, fields. So they are taking as much as possible of these fields, leaving for us the mountains. The cost of water in these areas is higher, and pumping waters and digging and so on is much more higher. The last thing is the sewage and water. So after confiscating our water resources or annexing it and so on, like in the Jordan Valley area, we are forced to rebuy it from the Israelis. Mainly through the Mikrot Israeli company or monopoly, and of course we pay 2 prices. We pay the price for the Israelis, and we pay price for the Palestinian medium company. Israel controls between 82 and 85% of the water resources in the West Bank. The control does not mean that they annexed or the water wells. We have in the West Bank 340 Palestinian water wells. All of them were built before '67. So the first point is, since '67 until today, we are not allowed to build new wells. Yes, they developed some wells, but no new wells. So now most of them are not functioning anyway.
Here, look here, we have a well. We have a well. They destroyed the well, and no one can get any water, a drip of water from this well.
The wall, of course, the wall affected the farmers here in this area. If we talk about the land of Bil'In, it's 4,000 dunums, all the land. When they started to build the wall, they confiscated 2,300 dunums. It's about 60% from the land of the village. This land is full of olive trees. So for example, the farmers was selling the olive oil before the war. Now, many of the families, they have to buy it because they lost a lot of their land. They destroyed about more than 1,000 olive trees from that spot when they built the settlement and the apartheid wall there. And they moved it 2 times. The first time they destroyed olive trees, and the second time also they destroyed the olive trees in 2 times. Of course, they lost about 60% from the people in the village. They are farmers. They used to have the olive trees. They plant sometimes seeds in their land, and they lost the land. About 30% was working in Israel by permission, and now we didn't have them work there because of the war. For example, my family is a farm family. We have olive trees in the next side of the wall. Now they're building new houses in Kiryat Sefer or Mudain Elite now called, where it was our olive trees. My father was selling the olive oil before. Now he didn't have enough olive oil to sell, so he just used it at home. Someone. And the same, many families in the village also, they have a lot of olive trees in the other side of the wall, and they lost it. And they lost their job by this way. By building the wall, they want the Palestinians to move. It's the same of 1948, the same goal, but in different way. In 1948, it was killing the people, scared the people, and they moved from their houses, from their land. This time they want to make the life hard for the families to move, to find job or food or water for the families. It's difficult to have water also, because the wall comes where is the aquifer of the water. As a Palestinian, we have enough water to use in our life. But they stole the water and they give it to the settlements, and they sell us a little bit from this water. In summertime, it's really very hard, the water in the village. You have it one time a week or 2 weeks sometimes. When I was child, I was going where's the settlements now. They didn't was settlements in that area. Mudain Alit or Kiryat Sefer or Mittiah Muzrah. I was go there with my family, pick the olive trees or playing there, or we was going there. But if I look now to that area, I see that my children cannot go there. Why? Because the wall and the settlement. So it's really change that you cannot move. It's like you are in jail. It's the same of jail. And this feel that make you like asking, where's the justice, where's the freedom, where's the equality? Why? And sometimes you have really a hard question from your children. That's why I cannot go to Jerusalem, and it's 25 kilometers from here. You know, I never been there in Jerusalem because I am in the blacklist, and most of the Palestinians cannot go there. Why we cannot go to the sea? The sea, you can see it in a nice day or summer day. You can see it from the roof of the houses. So many things it's not just the occupation it's really very hard. It's in your blood, your thought, your thinking. You know, it's not like other countries. When your child go to the school, you just afraid if he's having his way soldiers or this is what scared you. Because many times they was going to the school, throw tear gas inside of the school. Why they like the children to go out, throw stones to them? They're playing. Now, you know, a lot of children, they live this life. The time of the war.
They saw the people that's injured with the I mentioned. They listen to the voice of the ambulance. All these things give back the child in his school. Part of the child afraid to go to the school in the bus because the soldiers in the middle of the village and they want to go home back, they can't succeed. The soldiers throw bomb and tear gas. There is another Palestinian on another side throw at them stones. Where this kid want to go? He can't pass. Many of them decide to don't go back to school. Many of them have a problem in their mind. Many of them, a few of them urinate in their clothes in the night because they're afraid.
From 2005 until 2010 or 2011, when they removed the wall, it was the hard time in the village. Every night they was raid the village. For example, my daughter, she's 9 years now. She's born when they start to build the wall. The first time she smelled the tear gas when she was 1 month. It was a curfew. They throw the tear gas inside of the home. She grew with the faces of the soldiers. They was attack my home many times at night time. They just to search or to arrest it sometimes. And every time she's wake up crying. She have to ask why they're coming to our home with big guns, cover their faces with dogs. It's really scared the children. And now she cannot sleep at night.
Israel in 2003 decided to build the wall. They start from the north side of Palestine, from Jenin, Tulkarem, Kalkilia. They reach Salfit area and Ramallah. I'm a farmer. I lost all of my land behind the wall. I have 30 dunam. Every dunam is equal 1,000 meters square. In the settlement itself, we lost 60 dunam. We have our income from this tree. For example, in the past, I collect about 40 jerrycan from the olive trees, olive oil. Every jerrycan equal 15 liters of oil. In the past, I was sold part of this, and part of this I use for my food in the family, in my house. But now I want to buy for my family olive oil. They use a live mention against the civilians here, and they know that in the law they mustn't use it.
What do you have to do to get shot at?
To get
Shot at? Why would they shoot you?
why would
Why would they shoot you?
It's not safe to work here. It's not safe to stay here.
So
we are expecting a bullet any minute. يعني.
So if you start farming here, they could just open
yeah,
fire.
it's not safe.
They can just shoot.
Yeah, it's not safe.
Okay.
But why would they start? Because they're in a bad mood?
They suspect something. They say for any security reasons you don't have to come close to the vents. They don't need a reason for shooting.
So as you can see, as soon as we've arrived, a jeep has arrived. They're just watching me, and I think I'm going to go back now.
We are not against the Jews because they are Jewish or live in Israel. We are against the occupation because the occupation took our income, demolishing our houses, jailed our kids, killed our kids. These bad things and terrible things happened here in Palestine. They said to the world they are democracy, but in fact there is no democracy. Democracy, I am a farmer, I am live under occupation, I must reach my land safety. If they need security, as they said, they can build their wall in the fence between the green line, between the land that occupation in 1967 and in 1948. 2 states for 2 people, 2 countries, we can live together with peace and safety.
Kalkilia now is like a bottle, only one door. They said, okay, we are, there is the gate for the farmer to pass easy to their land, about 20 gates. But this gate closed all the time, only 2 gates, one north, one south, opened 3 times a day. 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour afternoon, 1 hour in the evening. Which means that the farmers, if they want to go to their farm, to their plastic nurseries, it's when the gate open. They want to go back home when the gate open. It's not when they want, when the soldiers want. So, and after the 17th, the agriculture product, we can say that it's about 70% of Kalkilia economic depends on agriculture. After that, it goes down to 7%. 80% of the land goes on the other side of the land. I'm a farmer. I have a permit like this, which is it's a permit specially for the farmers, not to enter Israel. To enter Israel, you need another bus permit. This is the green one is for the farm. Yeah. It's not how I get this bus permit. It's not easy. You have to bring a file of papers for the Israeli to prove that you own a land on the other side of the wall. You know what is written in this bus permit? You are entering a military area. Yeah. It's not a bus permit written here that I'm going to my farm. I'm entering a closed military area. Even here in Arabic, they wrote in Hebrew and in Arabic. In Arabic, they wrote here with this bus permit, this does not mean that you own a land on the other side of the wall. A farm means workers. I'm the owner of the farm, but I need workers. Those workers need bus permit also. Oh, it's difficult to have bus permit for the workers because they do not own lands. A farm need bus permit for cars, trucks to bring the raw material and take the product back. Oh, it's difficult to have bus permit for those. If I need tractors, the equipment, the man who must maintain the water well, the pipes, all those people, it's a society need a bus permit. It's not a farm that a farmer alone. We need the trucks, car to bring the product, to take the product to the West Bank.
This area has become behind the wall, and if you make a comparison between this area and the area here, you see that area has become destroyed. No one can work because the farmer can't take the permission to go around behind the wall to plant, to work, to do anything. For this, it's become, look, it's become nothing for this farmer.
It's very difficult, so they left. And that's what the Israeli want. They don't want us to farm the land, because farming the land and planting the land need taking water, and this is what they want. They don't want us to use the water. That's what they want.
أنا أحمد زيد من مدينة كلكيلية، بشتغل مزارع. طبعا صار لي مدة يعني، بس ما بعد الجدار تأثرنا يعني بالتأثيرات اللي سبق حكيناها الموضوع يعني. واليوم وين الوضع عن أول يعني؟ الوضع اليوم مش زي أول. قبل بكينا يعني نزرع مساحات منيحة، اليوم مساحات مختصرة بالنسبة لما ضيع الجدار من أراضي إلنا.
This land working here around 25%, five family working and have their alive from this land. Now imagine what happened for these families after they cutting all this tree, and where are they working now? Easy to the Israeli to take this land because no one work in this area.
The longer this occupation continues, the more permanent it becomes. And we call this the annexation wall and its associated regime. It's not just the wall that is a problem. It is, like I said earlier on, the permit regime that becomes a problem, but also the different checkpoints, the expansion of the consistent expansion of settlements. The wall is constructed in a way to protect the settlements. So where if you were to look at a map, the snaking I was talking about earlier, it snakes around the settlements, and it snakes around those areas that are, in the minds of the Israeli authorities, destined to be land constructed on which settlements will be constructed. So it's all part of a long-term plan. It's all part of a permanency, a sense of, and that reeks to urgency for us as an international community, for us as a Palestinian human rights organization. We cannot ignore that it's not just there for legitimate security reasons. if it were, it'd be built on the 1967 lines, and it wouldn't be, the associated regime with bypass roads and protection for settlers wouldn't be put into place. In 2004, the International Court of Justice rendered an advisory opinion and said the wall as it is constructed in this way is illegal. So it recognized Israel's right to defend itself and legitimate security reasons, but it did say this is not the way to go about it. For me, this is what you see on the ground is a structural process that is irreversible and has characteristics of colonialism. This is modern colonialism. You occupy a country, which by definition occupation is temporary. It's only that moment between essential conduct of hostilities, active conduct of hostilities, where two nations under occupation, they sit together and they sort out their differences. They try to reach a peace agreement. And back in the day, when international law was devised, the idea was that that was just a matter of weeks. Now we have an occupation of 47 years, and this occupation is not likely to end. And like I said earlier, the regime is one of permanent. Israel is a country that operates above the law. That is what the international community needs to understand. It's not a temporary situation that will end tomorrow, but the situation has been allowed to become permanent. And the reality is that we need to deal with that right now.
Next is the freedom.
Yeah?
Yes, we hope to have our freedom next week. So if you come to join us in the demonstration, we have hope. Because we have our demonstration every week to ask for our freedom.